Hello Kakem, it's Tina. I'm really happy to see you guys again, and today I would like to talk about Easter. Since Easter is coming up in less than a month, it's necessary for us to understand what Easter really is and why we have certain services in the masses leading up to Easter. So first of all, what exactly is Easter? Well, it's more than just having egg hunts, right? In simple terms, Easter is the celebration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. But to be able to really understand what the resurrection is and where it came from, how it happened, it's important that we also talk about the days leading up to Easter. And I call these days the Paschal Tritium. So whenever you describe something as Paschal, it just relates to Easter, and then tri means 3. So the Paschal Tritium consists of 3 days: Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter Vigil. And these 3 days are one of the most important days of the liturgical year in general. So I will talk about these individually, but it is important to mention that the Paschal Tritium is part of the Holy Week, and that the Holy Week starts on Palm Sunday. So Palm Sunday falls on March 28th this year, just to keep that in mind, and that is when Jesus rides this donkey into Jerusalem. And the people gather around. They would place small branches or like little pieces of cloak on the ground to celebrate his entry into Jerusalem. That is why during Palm Sunday masses, the priest will bless these like palm leaves, and then he will distribute these leaves to each of us. And the Gospel of Luke actually tells us that on Palm Sunday, Jesus foretells his passion. So what that means is, as he's entering Jerusalem, he predicts that he is going to get arrested soon, and that he is going to endure a lot of suffering, and that he will soon die on the cross. This leads us into our first day of the Paschal Tritium, which is Holy Thursday. So Holy Thursday falls on April 1st of this year, and it involves the washing of feet. So during the Holy Thursday Mass, the priest will wash the feet of 12 people in the community, and this is simply just to reenact what Jesus did for his 12 apostles. And this washing of feet is really symbolic, because it is meant to teach us that true greatness doesn't come from being powerful, but instead it comes from being a servant. Because this action of washing people's feet was typically something that only servants would do for their masters, but Jesus did this for his disciples. So as Christian believers, we are inspired to devote our lives to serving God as well as serving the people around us. Holy Thursday also consists of the Last Supper, so this is when Jesus eats his final meal with his apostles before he gets arrested and betrayed by Judas. Now this Last Supper is super important, because this is when Jesus establishes the Eucharist, or like the Holy Communion. So he says, "This is the body which will be given up for you. This is my blood which will be poured out for the forgiveness of sins." So you hear these words pretty much every week during regular masses, but it is especially important on Holy Thursday, because this is the first time that Jesus is having this Holy Communion celebration. And finally, we have Adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. So after everyone receives the Eucharist, there will be a procession where the priest carries the Eucharist around the church, and then he will stop at what we call the altar of repose. It's spelled R-E-P-O-S-E, repose. That's where the tabernacle will be, and after the priest recites certain prayers, he will place this Eucharist into the tabernacle, and it will be stored until the next day, which is Good Friday. So Good Friday falls on April 2nd this year, and just to share a short and fun story, I used to ask my parents when I was little, why is it called Good Friday when it is the day that Jesus Christ is crucified and the day that he dies on the cross? Like, how is that a good thing, right? But what people mean by Good Friday is that after Jesus dies on the cross, humanity has abandoned their sins. They have repented heavily for the sins they've committed, and so, you know, humankind has become better or become good. So that is why it's called Good Friday. What's different about Good Friday compared to the other days is that there is no actual mass. So you know, there is still the liturgy of the word. There is like a long gospel that will be read by like the deacon and the priest, and this will be about the passion of Christ. So it will go through the betrayal, go through his arrest, his suffering, his crucifixion, and his death. All of those things. But there is a veneration of the cross as well. So we will line up to, you know, kiss the cross as a way to pay our respects. But there is no liturgy of the Eucharist. So like there is no actual celebration. The priest just goes to the tabernacle. He takes the Eucharist that was stored from Holy Thursday, and then that is how we will receive communion. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about is Easter Vigil, of course. So Easter Vigil is on April 3rd, and of course, Easter Vigil is when we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So there are 4 parts to this Easter Vigil: the service of light, liturgy of the word, liturgy of baptism, and liturgy of the Eucharist. So the service of light, it starts outside of the church, actually. So that's when the priest, he prepares this Easter fire, and then there will be a giant candle. This candle is called the Paschal candle, or the Easter candle, and the Easter fire will be used to light that big candle. Then afterward, the deacon will carry this candle into the church, and it is supposed to symbolize, you know, God's light entering the world, and you know, all of our candles will be lit by that light. And afterward, the deacon will sing this long song, which is what we call the Easter proclamation. And this song is basically just about you know, the mysteries of Easter, God's glory, his mercy for humankind, all of that stuff. That brings us to Liturgy of the Word, which is the second part of Easter Vigil. So Liturgy of the Word during the Easter Vigil Mass is slightly longer than the Liturgy of the Word for typical Masses. There can be up to 9 readings, I believe, but due to like time constraints, we typically only read I think 5 or 6, if I'm not mistaken. So examples of these readings include like Genesis. So Genesis readings talk about God's creations, And then like Exodus readings, one example would be of the crossing of the Red Sea. Now the next part is the liturgy of the baptism. So every year during the Easter season there will be candidates of people who want to be initiated into the Catholic Church. And so this is really like an exciting time for them. So not only are we coming to church to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, but we are also there to pray for those who have been newly accepted into the Catholic Church. And finally, the liturgy of the Eucharist is, as you know, it's just basically a celebration of the Eucharist like it normally happens during like normal masses. That is all I have for you guys, and I hope you guys are safe, happy, healthy during this pandemic, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon, hopefully during the Holy Week. Take care.